Hello, welcome. It's Thursday. It is the Etch Play Weekly Live Show. I'm Dan, and I am joined by Tyre. How are we doing, Tyre?
We're doing super good today, Dan.
Excellent. So you're having a good week?
Yeah, really good week. We've been very busy at Etch this week, and things are going very well, which is always exciting.
Very good. Yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic one. A few projects going out the door this week, but the team are somehow managing to keep up with it. So, yeah, that's very exciting. So we have got another packed show again today. We'll be covering the latest games industry news. I'll be checking out Death's Door, and then we've got a little discussion, which is a bit of a rehash of the talk I did at Develop last year, and I'll be sharing absolutely everything you need to know about games marketing, which is good to hear, I'm sure. But yeah, first of all, let's get on to the news, and let's see. We can get the B-roll right, which we have, I think. So first up, Cyberpunk 2077 Next Gen update is finally available. It's been a while since we talked about Cyberpunk, after it dominated a lot of the news headlines last year, but what with one of the rockiest launches in a very long time, and then the hacking escapade, the data issues that they had. But we're back, we're talking about this week, as the long-awaited next-gen update finally dropped for Xbox Series X and S and PS5. The next-gen console improvements include ray tracing support, 4K resolution with dynamic scaling, faster loading times, and a variety of other visual and technical improvements. On the PS5, the update also includes support for the adaptive triggers, haptic feedback, and even the speakers on the DualSense controller, as well as a whole host of other improvements and additions, and CD Projekt Red also teasing a bunch of secret additions that are part of this patch. The patch itself is 50 gig, and the first one since September 2021, so as you'd expect, there's going to be an awful lot on that. And perhaps in an effort to regain some trust and convince players that this is the time the game is worth shelling out for, there will also be a 5-hour free trial of Cyberpunk 2077 available on PS5 and Xbox until March the 15th, and any progress you make in the trial will carry over to the full game if you choose to buy it. So yeah, last year, probably the most anticipated game for a long time. Cyberpunk came out, didn't wow the world with its console implementation. They then walked it back, took it off, and have obviously kind of finished tidying it up. But now it's available, and I think it's discounted as well at the moment. So really, I guess trying to recapture the favour of people. Have you checked out Cyberpunk, Tyre?
I haven't yet, but I think this whole free trial deal they've got going on is definitely a way to get more players interested, trying it out, seeing if it's for them. So maybe I'll be one of those players.
Yes, I'm very much the same. I've not played it, but it did look good, and I do like the sound of it. I just thought when it had all those troubles, I was like, okay, well maybe I can wait for a while. But yeah, now seems the time to dive in. Do you want to take us through what we got next?
Yeah, as well as Cyberpunk news, we've had quite a few different video game movie news coming out this week, which is very exciting. We've talked a lot before about the relationship between Hollywood blockbusters, TV shows, and video games, from the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, there are a couple of stories this week for fans of movies based on video games, which is all very exciting. The first one, Netflix have announced that they're working on a live-action Bioshock film. This isn't the first time an attempt to bring Bioshock to the bigger screen, as a project was announced back in 2008, which ultimately, due to budget and personnel changes, curtailed the project. But with Netflix at the helm, things may be more promising this time around, which is echoed by Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, who said, "Netflix is among the best and most forward-thinking storytellers in all of entertainment today. We are thrilled that they share our vision and commitment to the Bioshock franchise, which is beloved by millions of fans around the world." Also exciting for Bioshock fans, Zelnick has also confirmed that Cloud Chamber Studio are deep in active development on the next Bioshock game, which is very interesting. In other video game news, Sega has also announced this week that Sonic the Hedgehog will be getting a third film in its series, as well as a spin-off live-action TV series focused on Knuckles, who is voiced by Idris Elba. I know Ben Joy on our team is going to be very excited about these news and looking forward to any snippets that are going to come through. And this announcement does come before the second movie has even hit the screens, as Sonic 2 will be released at the end of March in some European countries, and then early April in the UK and the US. Are you excited, Dan? Are you a big Bioshock or Sonic fan?
Yeah, I did actually enjoy the Sonic movie, so yeah, I haven't seen the. Was there a second one out recently, or is that what's coming out?
I think that's what's coming out soon in Europe,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, so Sonic is cool, but yeah, I'm super hyped that there's a Bioshock TV adaptation. Really love the Bioshock universe. And just the I think we've mentioned this before, but kind of TV and film adaptations of video games they've reached a bar now that just doesn't make you immediately write it off as cringe. So Bioshock's got such a, like, especially if they go sort of dark and eerie with it, I'm very excited for that. So, continuing the adaptations theme, Halo, that we mentioned last week or the week before, the TV series which is on its way, they've announced a second season. So the eagerly awaited TV series has already been renewed for a second season, even before episode 1 even airs. This will likely help convince maybe some skeptical viewers at ease before they invest the time into a series which potentially only runs for one season. In a statement, Showtime Network CEO David Nevins said, "This second season pickup reflects the confidence we have in the power of this epic series to attract and engage viewers. Halo has been a great collaboration with Amblin and 343 Industries, and we're all grateful for the opportunity to continue it." However, the launch of the first season is now in jeopardy due to a lawsuit from the game's original composer, Marty O'Donnell, over claims of unpaid royalties which could block the show's release. A mediation date set for next week, and the possibility of an injunction blocking the launch of the Halo TV series. This is definitely a developing story to keep an eye on over the coming weeks and months. So, yeah, it's a bit of a Halo giveth, Halo taketh away there. It's a second season, which sounds great. More Halo. We're all big fans of Halo over on the Play team, but yeah, we might have to hang on a bit longer whilst they sort their little spat out over their royalties. And finally, Wordle.
Oh, Wordle. So Wordle has been kind of on the show a few different times for different reasons. You may remember we checked it out a few weeks back on the show where we had Dan and Adam, was it Ben and Adam, fighting for supremacy in the live Wordle showdown.
That was me, and I absolutely
destroyed
That was you
and Adam. I think that was Adam's first ever Wordle, which was quite interesting to watch. If you're not familiar with Wordle, it's a little puzzle game where players have 6 attempts to deduce a 5-letter word of the day. Since it has come out, the game has been sold to the New York Times for a low 7-figure amount, with the switchover happening on the 11th of Feb, which was earlier this month. This has actually caused some confusion among players, as depending on which version of the game they have been playing, they've had different words. A lot of fun was sharing, how quickly you got the word against your friends to see if you've beaten them, which is what we had in our live show between Dan and Adam. However, this has become a little harder this week, as it's difficult to tell if you're comparing a like-alike achievement, because in some instances the word library for the two versions aren't the same, so the correct answer in one version is not even an acceptable guess in another version. The original site should probably redirect the user to the game's new location, preventing this issue. However, the original version is still online and still accessible for some users, which is what has brought this confusion to light. We're sure this is going to be resolved soon and the confusion removed, or the NYT Times, the New York Times will hope, as having paid for the privilege of owning this game, they'll definitely want to profit from it. So the last thing they want is players being able to access the old version and also walking away due to the confusion, because the same fun isn't there. Have you experienced some of these Wordle woes, Dan?
No, actually, it's been pretty seamless in my experience. Me and the wife tend to compare Wordle scores, and as has been a consistent playthrough. But I was thinking, actually, like with the New York Times and there's going to be a lot of pressure of them to not kind of destroy the Wordle experience, and there was a lot of talk about it not being monetized and things like that. But what did make me interested, as it was Valentine's Day recently, it got me thinking about, okay, there's an opportunity for them to maybe start doing some themed things, and then maybe there's like collaborations they could tie in with upcoming movie releases and things like that, which I thought could be an interesting way to do it without being too garish or covering it in banner ads and things like that.
That could be fun. Maybe they'll watch the show and take your advice.
There you go. New York Times, I only accept a six-figure sum for my ideas, so, give us a call. Cool. So, hey to people in the chat. Miles, we've got Tony, whose Wordle group chat was very confused. I do love the community side to things like this. People just build themselves around these little experiences. So our heart goes out to your Wordle group chat, Tony. But hopefully it will all settle down. Shall we have a look at some Death's Door?
Yes, let's.
Let's see if I can get that queued up and running.
Excellent. So for those who don't know, Death's Door is I guess what I call a very adorable Souls-like, which is an interesting combination of words. It is a isometric action-adventure game where you play a little crow who's basically the Grim Reaper. So you can see now on the screen, Dan is kind of running around with his adorable character, who I really love. And your job is to basically reap the souls of the dead and do a good day's work. But actually, something strange happens on one of your days, which I believe Dan is going to find out very soon, which takes you to realms unknown, which is very exciting. This game was developed by Acid Nerve and published by Devolver Digital, and it has had very positive reception, both from players and press. And I think, people just really love how cute it is, but also how difficult it is, because that's not usually a combination that we see a lot of.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really interesting juxtaposition, cute and really brutally difficult. And I did actually play this on stream one evening, and I was awful, but I was playing it on a keyboard at the time, and now I've got my controller. I think I'm going to be amazing. So, those used to my poor efforts at the games, totally not going to.
Famous last words, Dan. Famous last words.
It's going to be terrible, but let's check it out.
So I really love, one of the things I love about this game, I haven't played it myself, I have watched some other people play it. I love the art direction of it, especially, this kind of monochrome start where you're kind of in, I guess, the creepy offices of the Grim Reaper crows, and then kind of the different saturations when you go to different levels. I just love it. It looks like a little kind of like toy town.
Yeah.
I know, like, would you say that's kind of like Zelda-esque in a way?
Yeah, it's very, very nice. It's almost kind of like tilt-shifty, isometric view, and really, really pretty. B to charge my arrow. There we go. We've got these cute little guys that follow us around.
Yeah, the little flowers. Pretty sure you can do something with the mushrooms as well, but I can't remember what.
So I think I've used an arrow, and then I think there's certain scenery that you can interact with, and it recharges your arrows. So I guess I restock, but then my little flower friends don't like me using my sword, and they run away. How
could you? Look at them, they're like cowering in a corner.
Yeah, sorry dudes.
Oh, so that's kind of like a Skyrim door back to the start. Oh, we're having our first boss already.
Demonic Forest Spirit, yeah, and this is where I was particularly awful before with you trying to use the keyboard controls. So let's see how we get on this time. Not very well so far.
Well, she hasn't hit you yet. That's something.
Yeah, see.
I would not get even this far in this game. Not good at anything with reaction times.
It's funny, like, I was so bad on the keyboard, and I sort of started playing games on, like, the original Doom was all just mouse and keyboard, but I've since become a real sucker for controller input, so yeah, Oh, there you go. You got me.
Oh. She's in her, like, second phase, I guess, because she's moved up some of her moves.
Oh.
There we go. Have you ever played a Souls game, Dan?
I've not, no, but I do keep intending to, but yeah, like difficult games, you know, I struggle with easy games, so maybe it's not worth my time. How about you? Have you?
No, I'm definitely someone who plays on easy. Unless I'm playing Dragon Age Inquisition, which for some reason I can play on the highest difficulty, no problem.
Right.
I don't really know why. It's a really strange thing. But yeah, I think, you know, I play games to kind of relax, enjoy, kind of explore the world story. So for me, I wish I could play some of the Souls games because they do have these fascinating worlds and really interesting stories to explore, but literally the first battle is kind of puts me off.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious, but yeah, I'm the same. I never used to, but I put all games on easy now. Just get to experience more of it faster, and then don't feel so bad about moving on to the next thing. And I like the story as well, and sometimes the story can get a bit broken up if you die every 2 minutes and have to replay the same bit over and over.
Yeah. Cool, so we're on to the next level already. I do like this. This game feels very compact, right? Like the levels are fairly straightforward. You kind of figure out the puzzles, you come back to them, you get away from them. It's just so cute, but it's so hard. So I don't know whether one day I might try it out. But yeah, Adam is saying in the chat, we should get Dan doing an Elden Ring stream, which that's coming out. Is it tomorrow? 18th, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should get you next week trying that out for fun.
On the Elden Ring.
On the Elden Ring. It does look very interesting. I did watch someone play through the open beta they had a couple of weeks ago, and it is just gorgeous. I mean, most of Miyazaki games are really beautiful, but the open world I think is going to really add a whole new level to the experience, as well as kind of the traditional bosses and leveling up and all the fun character customization you can do in those games. I talk like I know a lot about it. I don't. I've just watched people play it quite a lot.
It's a big, hotly anticipated release, isn't it? So.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. I've got some new creatures. Oh, I haven't picked up a seed that I could have planted and restored some health. But
oh dear.
Yeah, I'm only on one bar of health left, so that's not boding well.
Not boding well.
Or it is boding well for those that are cringing at watching me play this. Oh.
I love that.
Yeah, real subtle cue as to what happened there, isn't it?
Death.
So yeah, so maybe we'll call it there. This is Death's Door, Devolver Digital published title. Really cute, really challenging, as I've demonstrated, but definitely worth checking out, I would say. And yeah, let's park that one as another one that Dan really doesn't do too well at. So yeah, let's move on to our little discussion. And yeah, what I've done is pulled out some of the a couple of bits from a talk that I gave at Develop last year, where I think I actually titled the talk "Delete Your Video Game Website," and we've put a couple of social posts with the equally link baity everything there is to know about games marketing. And yeah, that's basically what we're gonna have a look at today. So first of all, we need to understand, I think, some of the conversations that are happening in game studios when it comes to marketing. And in the past month, I'd be willing to bet these following phrases or sentences or some variation thereof have been uttered in most of the game studios across the globe. So, Ty, I want to tell me if you think this is a familiar sounding statement that perhaps have been said in meeting rooms or Zoom calls from game studios lately. We need to update our website. Do you think that's been said?
I'm pretty sure I've heard it, and I'm sure it would have been said across the world. So yes, definitely familiar.
How about we really need to be posting more on social media?
Yep, that's very familiar as well.
Has anybody checked our analytics lately?
That's something I say to people. I wish I heard that more.
yeah, absolutely. Why aren't we on TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
That's probably a very common one for those who haven't taken that jump yet. And we really need to be creating more video content.
Yeah, I think it's been the year of the video for the last 10 years running. I'm just never going to stop.
So what I think is interesting is, and we're as guilty of this as anybody, but games businesses and games marketers are acutely aware of what they're not doing. And we kind of feel that constant pressure of keeping up with what's going on in the market, what we're seeing people blowing up on, and we're always aware of what we're not doing. And there's certainly a kind of shared feeling of anxiety and overwhelm about everything that needs to get done. And is it any wonder? So what we got here. So this is a snapshot of some of the channels that games marketers are expected to be experts in. And these are all some familiar channels and platforms, but it's more than that, because that's just the channels themselves. But they don't just have one type of content; they've got multiple kind of avenues that you can use them with. So actually, kind of the kind of mechanics we need to interact with look a little bit more like this. But actually, this is, and don't worry if you can't see on the stream the detail. It's more like the volume that we're getting across, because this is just kind of our broadcast capability. So we can shout into the ether through all these channels. But what we're really after is engagement. So we want our audience to feel connected to us. So actually, when you factor in likes and DMs and replies, this is all the channels that we've got to be contending with. And this in itself, these are all just communications channels. We've not touched on the actual content planning and creation side of things, or website management, paid media, mentioned analytics and reporting, key distribution is a big part of things for a lot of teams, and even the entire discipline of PR as well. There is so much that people have to do, and I don't sort of care how big your team is. There is a lot for any size team, and if you're like a micro indie or doing the marketing and making the game yourself, that is just absolutely insane. And it's no wonder people feel overwhelmed. But we need this. We need this such a rich ecosystem, because this is kind of what we're faced with, and what we're looking at here is the number of releases each week. But shamelessly taken from the ICO Partners newsletter that they send out each week, and this was at the time that I did the Develop Talk, so this is a few months ago. But we can see every week we're talking, most weeks have more than 200 games released, and that's continued since then. And in fact, we can even see here it's 284. It's on the kind of the second week of October. That is a lot that we've got to try and stand out from, and that's just Steam. So you consider consoles and mobile and any other kind of the ever increasing amount of platforms that there are to contend with. We need all these channels because there's a lot to stand out from. But it's not all doom and gloom. fortunately, and the reason that we have all of these channels, there are some 3 billion people around the globe spending rapidly approaching $200 billion per year on video games. So there's still plenty of opportunity to go around. And that kind of leads me on to the main point of this, and the everything any games marketer needs to know is that you don't actually need to be everywhere. And there's always going to be channels, tactics, opportunities that you're not on top of. So the main thing to take away is, I guess, make your peace with that fact, and like focus on what you are doing, rather than sort of perhaps so much overwhelmed with all of the things that we're not doing. And if you can accommodate, sort of get to that point, and you can make your peace with that, then the task becomes about focus and prioritization. And I'll throw this over to you, Ty. Have you got any initial thoughts on like, okay, so we've accepted we aren't going to get everything done, but we do have this overwhelming array of things. Where do we focus our effort, our thoughts and time?
Yeah, so as Dan says very rightfully, if you're trying to do everything, you're likely not going to do any of it as well as you could. Whereas if you do prioritize, if you do focus, you can try and do the best you can with what you have. I was saying, in terms of prioritizing, the first step for me would be just to look at what you already have. What channels are you already on? Where is your community? Where are you already seeing that engagement? And try to identify any opportunities that are on those channels, on those platforms that you haven't yet taken the most advantage of. So, if you do have an active Twitter, have a think about what more you could do on there to really drive that engagement, get more people involved there. If you have a really great Discord where the community is really good, great. Think about how to get more people into it, So that would be my first kind of recommendation, is like, see what you have. Do you have all these different platforms and different channels that don't do anything for you? Maybe leave them for later. As Dan very rightfully said, everyone's always asking, like, why are we not on TikTok? Why are we not doing the latest thing? Why are we not doing the coolest thing right now? Why are we not exactly where everyone else is? Well, sometimes you don't need to be there. If you're happy kind of with the platforms that you're using, you're getting that engagement, you can focus more on them before trying to take on loads of new stuff that you haven't tried before, that you haven't got time to really experiment with. But also think about your audience. We kind of touched on this a couple of shows ago, but really thinking about, okay, well, you have dozens and dozens of platforms, different places that you could send people, etc. Are they all going to be right for your audience, for your gamers, for your team even? If you're doing this is where I can never think of any examples. If you're doing like a really hardcore AAA shooter with lots of kind of like action and adventure and all of that, is itch.io kind of the best distribution platform for you? Probably not. The kind of audience that's on there might be interested in that kind of thing, but really you probably want to be looking at other avenues. Similarly, if you've got a really quirky, cool indie, maybe it's just a place, maybe getting a nice little Discord of like-minded people, that would really be, where you'll see the most. So yeah, definitely think about what you already have, see how you can improve on that, and then think about your audience. Always think about what you're trying to achieve. Just going on TikTok and trying to use TikTok because everyone else is doing it isn't likely to get you good engagement, because you need to really think about why you're there, what you're posting, and how people are going to be interacting with it.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, just pick up on a couple of things you said there. Like what you're already comfortable with, what you're already using, is a great starting point. And before getting overwhelmed with everywhere that you're not, it's like, okay, we've already established this. We know how this platform works. We've built some form of audience already. Can we double down on that and really make the most out of that? Because any one channel is probably got a significant audience already. And so yeah, definitely worth focusing on what you're already doing, and also kind of what do you enjoy. It's not worth banging your head against the wall of something that you don't really gel with yourself, because it's just always going to come across that way. Maybe wait until you can bring on another team member, or until you do have time to properly explore that platform. As Steve's mentioning, MJ's excellent develop talk, he'd hire her to handle that channel and then retire. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Find an expert. If you've identified suitable opportunity in the channel, you don't have to do everything yourself. And you don't have to start off with a full-time permanent employee, which can be very expensive. You can maybe just start off with a few hours a week of somebody. There's plenty of people out there that you can look to handle these channels. You also mentioned, where are your players? Where's your audience? And a good way to try and understand that is look at similar games. What does your game look like? Who might it appeal to? And where is that title's audience? And just go and do some research and have a look there, because like I say, you don't want to be spending time investing in platforms that aren't right for your audience. And then the other sort of tip that I often mention to people is look at what resources you've got. What expertise do you have in your team in terms of, do you have amazing content writers? In which case, maybe some of the more text-heavy platforms might be better, so a Twitter or maybe like Reddit, somewhere like that. If you've got amazing graphics and visual, you want to be looking at Imager. If you've got video, of course, TikTok is going to be a lot more desirable, as is YouTube. And then the other thing, particularly with TikTok and YouTube, is what personalities do you have? There's a lot of us, as I'm demonstrating, we're not all made to be on camera, and if you're just forcing it, it's not going to be the most compelling content. It's not going to be the greatest content, and you're just sinking bad time into something that isn't going to be a natural fit for you. So looking at the resources and the skills that you've got available, and just kind of look at where you can apply your team, your capabilities, your experience most effectively, rather than worrying about everywhere that you are not present already. So I think we've actually done a show that's kept more or less to time for, I think it was probably the first time since I started running these things. We've got a busy week. I'm going to keep us to time, and I'm going to thank everybody for joining us. Steve, Tony, Miles, everybody in the chat, thank you. Thank you, Tyre. And
thank you.
We're going to be back next week, as we always are, by hook or by crook. We make these shows happen. So if you aren't already, give us a follow. If you're watching on YouTube, then please give us a subscribe and a like, which will help us, do those mad numbers that are imminently headed our way. And we will see you next week.
Take care, everyone. So, are you going to play Elden Ring or not? Because I think you should.
Maybe we'll have a look, but maybe it's time somebody else embarrass themselves by streaming some gameplay.